Let's hope we didn't break anything. All right, if we did, hey everybody. Oh, hello people over there too. Hi. Hey, we can take a picture of them taking a picture of us. So, anyways, we're here for a dream hack, but we're also gonna be casting WCS Austin because it's a rule that we actually can't call this dream hack Austin for some.
What happened to this camera angle? Who changed it? It was like over here. It was like down.
I don't know, dude. This is on you to figure it out.
Also, like it zoomed in. Like what the?
Yeah, it looks fine. We're framed. That's all that matters. All right, let's. Is the stream up though? Yep. Okay, that's the other thing. Let's make that bigger.
Yeah, I think it was Cortman. I think it was.
Pop out. Oh, was that who that was? I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
I just saw people taking pictures. I like to ham it up. What can I say?
I know.
All right, that's way too big. Yo, somebody in chat say something. Oh, there we go. Isn't OFU here at DreamHack, I thought?
I don't know.
I saw him tweet that he was here. Maybe he's just like super hashtag passionate on the phone too. So he can watch the base trade.
Or maybe he knows that, you know, it's just better to stay in your hotel room until, you know,
it probably
the
is.
big
Oh
leagues
my
happen,
god. You
so.
just be like chilling out so much.
I'm like not to tell you guys not to watch us because this is inferior, but like let's be real. Like some people are just gonna wait until, you know, they can see Neeb and Snoot on the main stage. That's fine. That's fine.
Zangrub, it was your coat I complimented earlier. Rifkin fucked up my compliment. Zangrub, your coat looks amazing.
How did you mix up coat and hair? Also, I thought I was really said my hair looked good because I think it looks mediocre.
I didn't say anything about hair. You're just assuming.
No, you did say hair.
I'm just gonna delete the VOD real quick so no one can verify because I don't know. No one can verify.
What do you think you said? You blank look good.
I just realized this is too big too. I need to shrink this a bit. Now let's move our photos too because it's cutting off the bottom.
I want to replace the patches, or I want to steal the idea of putting patches on clothes because it's becoming a new fashion thing. Like I've seen this in a lot of different places now. And I just want to replace them with like StarCraft stuff. Because while this is okay, you know, like boom and whatever, there's one that says boss lady, and I don't really resonate with that, you know? That's not how I roll. Lady boss?
No, but that's
boss
Link,
lady.
right? High roll.
There is a red flag card that was basically just having Navi in your ear the entire time.
United Sans is apparently the font we're supposed to use. Okay. It's tiny and skinny. It's like an anorexic girl. It's not healthy looking.
So did you tell them that we're still getting set up?
No, are they ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's kick it off. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping into some StarCraft action.
I mean, I would have if I could make a lobby.
Oh, the slow fade. No transition. That feels weird. Okay, well, there's supposed to be a sponsor on the bottom right, but the video they gave us isn't working so good. So that's be awkward. I also have to add the group stage name here in just a moment, guys. So enjoy super production quality.
Well, while that happens, I'll tell you how it's set up here. So we have a screen, an extended screen, right? Like, you know, monitor and laptop monitor as is. We have the option to duplicate it, but I feel like this is a good attempt, a successful attempt to disengage me from Twitch chat.
And
I can't really see it all the way over there.
And start fighting with people. Dude, you'll just bring it up on your phone. Don't even pretend like you won't.
I mean, I'm thinking about it, but I don't have Wi-Fi, so it seems questionable.
United Sans. Okay, well, it looks like they need a second anyways. That works. There's a little bit of a story about this group, though, which is kind of funny. We'll get into that in a moment, but let's got to find the United Sans and write group. Oh, my God. Why can't I? Group stage 1.
Yeah, I noticed, or actually, ZvP noticed that you did that for all of your scenes.
Did what?
Like capital, not capital, not capital, capital.
Oh, there's a reason for that, actually.
I figured. It seems too consistent.
I think that fits in there real nice. We'll see in a sec. Oh, we have to unpause. Fuck, there's no Ponsky on this.
I told them they were going to unpause. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, getting into the I guess issues with my capitalizations. This is off now. One sec.
Oh.
I like to fidgetingly tap the caps lock key. I don't have a good reason for it. I just do. So when I go to type something, sometimes it'll be on, and I'll be like, I'm too far gone to go back and fix it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WCS Austin. We did do some testing. Everything should be okay, but we will be relying on some feedback, so if you guys can let us know whether the audio is off or not. We actually do have some control over ourselves for once, which is nice. We can edit on the fly best we can. It also means if we break something, we might be in trouble too. Anyways, we are getting into the first game in this best of 3 for the group stage. The bottom right, we got the yellow Zerg player, Game Time.
In the top left is the red Protoss. It is MCanning.
The MCan man himself, looking to save some money, I guess, to buy that MCan mansion for reals.
MCansion.
Yeah.
It's not even.
Watch a stream once in a while. It's not Jeez.
That's the stupidest I've ever heard.
So far it saves during the test, so I'm going to assume that means it's okay. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of games going on. It's kind of interesting, though. In the past, DreamHack had very open brackets, and it was like not quite this group stage, and we had other things like round robins, and it was kind of, I guess, a bit messy, you could say, but it worked. It was DreamHack, right? This year, for those who don't know, like WCS has like officially kind of taken over. While we are at DreamHack Austin, this is actually like the WCS tournament circuit for StarCraft. So changing the format a little bit more group stage action. It's much more fluid, I guess you could say.
Fluid.
Yeah, well, it should be. Anyways,
Sure.
We'll find out too as we go on, like who's going to be playing, doing what. I'm seeing a lot of emoticons. Do we get like hosted or rated? I don't actually know here. We don't have notifications on proper like, but I see a lot of folks with. There we go. MCanning's.
Oh yeah, you can put on Twitch alerts. You know.
I could, but then we got distracted and I didn't.
Well, I mean, it's up. You just have to hit the button that says launch. And you can hear it. I mean, you can just.
Well, I can't.
You
so.
can't?
If you remember, we changed the input for audio, and that's not going to match that, so I have to actually change something to make that work. Trust that I know what I'm doing. We'll fix it afterwards. We'll get it for after this first game, after the first series.
Well, I mean, okay, fine.
I mean, I do stream stuff once in a
I was the
blue moon.
one that pointed out that you had a stream key and not log in. So I did pseudo
Do you want to cast
save
alone?
the day.
This is how you end up casting alone.
I'd pseudo save the day.
Okay.
Like,
We have a Stargate.
do we?
We do. And he's going to be popping out Oracle. What an original, crazy, ridiculous build. But also, I'm just realizing we are using GameHeart, right? Okay. That didn't show up until just now, right?
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not
also
crazy.
using this disgusting overlay.
Wait,
Yeah, no, it didn't.
You have to mouse
over
over
it.
Oh, my God. Guys, can we get some GameHeart, please?
It's supposed to really emphasize how good the Observer is, Rifkin. If the Observer is great, then WCS 3.0 is the best overlay.
Can I get the... Can I get a new partner? Can someone, if anyone's listening, go call Stage Show? I need a 911 real quick.
Whatever, man. Like, so I'm figuring, right, because like it's not really an official setting. Like, even though we have like the nice headset, we're not like standing up.
Dog, we're not being paid. We're not contracted.
We're
I am
being
not
paid.
worried about saying
It's not our
jack
event.
squat.
No, you don't know. I'm going somewhere, all right? And it's an NA event. This cast is not going to make any fucking sense at all.
Oh, no. We might as well just start drinking now.
Yes, actually. Someone has got to get us a pitcher of beer.
It's like he just starts patrolling the Oracle. Okay, there we go. Just one of the drones.
You can buy alcohol here, actually. Little glasses of wine. Pretty fancy.
Okay. We'll
Yeah.
have to go for it. You know, I'm just realizing
Texas.
a solution to our perhaps problems. They probably have this defaulted not on damaged, right?
Probably have a lot of defaults.
Yeah, normal? What is normal? Hello?
There's probably some other things that we forget. Oh, well, doesn't matter.
Damage health bar is where it's at, son. There we go. Now we can see everything.
But now it's too cluttered. I mean, GSL has it right.
I won't be continuing to work with you. If
Why is it that like so many different places have so many different ideas?
if you continue to act out in these outbursts,
I just did.
we're gonna have a problem.
It's like okay, man. I don't want to be like, you know what? Whatever. Like I don't want to bring BM or anything, but it's just like I went to a. I can't even be like I can't even do code, right? Like it's gonna be so obvious what I'm talking about. No, it doesn't matter. Point is, I feel like we got like the production side of things down. Okay, like I really feel like we have the best one. And why doesn't anyone just say like, yeah, you're probably right, you probably do. All right,
there's a chance that maybe there's.
They can just admit that they're wrong. They're like, we gotta make it work.
Okay, well, you know, Xavier, we got more than one Stargate. We got 3 Stargates, and what's great about this is match with the fleet beacon. So, I mean, to be honest, we know a little bit about MCann. He actually kind of impressed us. If you guys missed it, he had a good showing in Ting's Season 3. He actually made it through the NA groups and was doing pretty well. But I don't know a lot more about Game Time. I've seen his name up there on the Ladder Heroes list for Fear Dragon. We've seen his name from time to time. But I don't know his play styles as well. And I don't know if he can deal with what's going to be carriers. We recently got like, I want to say blessed by watching Bly do a really cool reaction to this. We had lurkers and infestors and hydras and like a little bit of everything, and it worked out really nicely. But he's also the first player that I felt, first Zerg player that so smoothly handled that situation, whereas hundreds of games have gone by and people just die to this build.
Yeah, but I remember that game, and I always gotta just consider how the game went up until that point. And it didn't convince me personally that it was Bly's reaction as like a smart cookie that really did it in. It was actually a lot of like, well, maybe a lot, maybe a little, whatever. The point is, it was something to do with the Protoss' fault as well. But that was a game a while ago, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. I mean, the response to get lurkers makes sense as they can try and stop those High Templars from coming forward. But once the Protoss player gets to 6+ carriers, half a dozen Void Rays, all the High Templars that they need, and Archons on a mothership, of course, a cloak, like it does seem like it's quite difficult to find them out of position, or just take a fight anyways. But that's maybe not where GameTime's wanting to go. I mean, busting the Protoss player before they get to those number of units that I just talked about is probably the best way to go about it, but that is a lot of cannons.
That is a lot of MCannons.
Yeah, well, it does make sense for his name. This is like, it does seem to be like one of 3 ways to help defend against what you know is a push coming, and one of the ways is to just mass cannons. You do have a bit of a mineral bank, but is it actually enough? Those Lings on top of them right before they formed, all of the air units are going down to the Hydras. It's actually not looking so hot. Even the Voted Overcharge is coming in now, and the Lings are starting to disappear, but more flooding in.
What's crazy, though, to note really quick before this gets out of hand, the resources lost surprisingly even for what was a bunch of cannons traded out.
Oh, that's going to change.
Yeah, it's going to change with the Nexus going down, with the probes going down. Like, this is going to get really bad for MCanning here.
If you're bust like this, I think it's actually just game over. Like, you don't have a lot of carriers. You don't even have all the interceptors quite yet.
That third base economy to keep making said carriers. Yeah. I like the idea of what was coming, but the time, you said, like, the best thing to do is hit them before they're ready to go, and that's exactly what GameTime did here. And MCanning had a solid game plan. I like the idea. He had the cannons down. He was ready to defend, but the timing was too soon.
Did he ever build any oracles, or
he
like?
He did.
How many?
He had like one. The one.
All right. Well, I was gonna bring up the fact that like if you do play this style, right, like just depend on going to cannons on 3 bases, no busts, or holding the bust of the cannons. That is like the Zerg player is also gonna take advantage of it. I don't think MCanning really has that much of a reputation of being like super cheesy, right? So if GameTime figures...
No, if anything, he's had the reputation to go in Disruptor.
Yeah, well, Disruptors, right? Like a macro unit. So like I figure GameTime's going to like look at every single game here, especially Abyssal Reef, which is a pretty popular map to go into carriers, and be like, well, I'll just out macro you in that sense anyways. And he did hit a very good time. Like that was right before all the cannons had finished.
Yeah, timing there was absolutely like, without a doubt, key. Because if he just kept bulking that army out, he wanted to max out, go full 200,
yeah,
he wouldn't have gotten there when he needed to get there.
Yeah, that would have been a little too late, you know. But going to game 2, it's going to be on Newkirk Precinct, which not nearly as popular of a carrier map. Of course, carrier maps you're going to be thinking of, I almost brought up Dusk Towers. Nope, Proxima and Abyssal Reef primarily. And yeah, I'm not sure what's... yeah, I don't think he's going to go for the carrier thing again.
Well, I don't know, man. Maybe on Newkirk. We'll see. Either way, to give him the quick intro in the bottom left, as we don't have our turntable that we normally do for intros available, it's going to be the purple Protoss MCanning.
In the bottom right is the yellow Zerg. It is game time. We're going to be right up close to the interview action.
Yeah, I hope like our shouting doesn't stuff going on.
Someone bring up butts for no reason at all. It's
been really awesome. We've had a lot of people just kind of come hang out with us, players that we haven't seen in a while. Good to see some folks like Smix and Control and others, and even just the prep for the tournament itself was pretty fun, I'd say, just hanging out.
Oh yeah, of course. Everyone's lovely people everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not a lot to really say because we don't know what's going to happen. Like that game at MCanning was honestly a little bit, I want to say like unconventional, not in terms of just like Protoss versus Zerg, but just I expected him to be doing the disruptors and all the shenanigans he's best known for.
Maybe that is what he was hoping GameTime would have also expected, because if GameTime does that similar timing, but there's like 2 or 3 disruptors, and maybe he just made a huge mistake.
Well, I had mentioned before we had some stories to tell about this group, and part of this was I went to talk to them while we were kind of in preparations and everyone was getting the group stage started. And first off, I guess the 4th person in the group was a no-show. I don't know if maybe they're late and they just came in type thing, but as far as we're aware, it was just going to be these 2 plus Euthermal in the group and no actual 4th player. So they were just kind of talking amongst themselves like, oh, how would this go back and forth? And they seemed very friendly. They seemed to know each other very well.
Okay.
So I don't know how much of that sort of oh, I hope you expected the wrong build element there was.
Yeah, I mean, certainly when it comes to the larger group tournament formats or just the open brackets in general, right? These just happen to be groups.
Yeah.
And in, you know, a specific country, like, there's going to actually be a lot of friends. Like, so many people are actually, like, I watch them just be like, oh, I haven't seen you in, like, 6 months, to give a big hug, right? There's actually been at least, like, 4 or 5 people that I know aren't really into StarCraft, but there's a, you know, a local event, and they're excited to meet all their friends again. So a lot of these guys are going to be pretty friendly to each other, and then you're going to, I guess, like, maybe a little less talk as the game goes on, but
well, actually,
later.
It's really funny. You listen to all the Europeans trash talking the NA players. I've actually really enjoyed this quite a bit.
Of course. I figured that the NA players just kind of expect that when they come.
Well, I was sitting with Kelazur, actually, while we're doing warm-up stuff, and I can't remember, I made some comment like, how do you think he'll do? And Harstam just kind of interjected. He's like, terrible, because he's North American. Or he'll lose because Lamb from Europe, or something like that. It's like,
doesn't he have a little bit of Korean in him now that he's been in Korea for like 3 months?
I don't know, man. I actually enjoyed talking about how he apparently had trouble with the food there, and I'm like, yeah, me too, man. I feel you.
Did he really?
And we both bonded over how much we hate kimchi.
Well, okay, that's fair. You know, like, there are Korean food is definitely a very specific type of food, right? But I figured that they had enough options to keep him happy. But I also feel like maybe he was coerced and going to places that he didn't want to.
So I have a big question mark related back to the game here. On that last one with the cannon busts that came in out of game time, I do wonder if this was an option. You know, Ling Hydra hasn't been an option for a while, right? And I wonder if that Ling Hydra attack was made possible part and thanks to the extra 10 health they have now, or if that was purely just a timing attack. Like, it wouldn't matter whether the Hydras had 70, 60, or 100 health.
I think it doesn't matter about the Hydras. Like, the Hydras actually really didn't even get touched. Those Lings were such a perfect timing that they took out the cannons, or took the fodder of the cannon hits long enough that the Hydras just, like, they immediately got on that single Void Ray and single carrier that was there. It really was not intimidating an army. And, I mean, that was part of the problem. Like, if you're going to go for a macro build, the other person's going to go for a macro build, and you're just going to have this eventual clash, and GameTime could have made a mistake and just said, I'm going to get maxed out first, and MCanning probably would have been fine by then, but no, he decided to be aggressive, and it worked out perfectly. Going back to what is, yeah, I mean, still a standard build. We'll see if he goes for the double Warp Prism, though, which is kind of the new standard, I suppose, for the build. Either that or just warping in only 2 DTs. Point is, like, it's not it used to always be 4 DTs warped in for 1 Warp Prism, and then you can see it all of your life, but now it's changed up a little.
I'm sure you're walking by giving us the thumbs up. Yeah.
Maybe we get him a cast again.
Oh, man, actually, I forgot. Yeah, it's been a long time since we've had Nameshar on the cast, but I was just going to mention, you brought up the double Warp Prism, and it's interesting because I have actually talked to a couple other Protoss players since we had that sit-down with Drogo in the AMA, and it seems to be pretty divided. A good chunk of them say it's a great move, and the other half think it's an absolute waste of time, money, and attention span.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think it would be such a divided topic. You would think that would be one of those things that is so clear-cut. It's like Terran players all going for Medivacs TVP. Like, it's a very unanimously decided good option. Well, it's a number you want.
It's always great to watch pro gamers talk or try and cast, like, either one, like, with each other or just, like, in the game, because it's actually, like, it's not as clear-cut, and when people get called out, I suppose, for casting one way or the other, it's funny how many pro gamers who just, like, vehemently also have that same argument, I suppose. But yeah, they are pretty divided about, I guess, the most recent patch as well. Yeah.
So this will be kind of interesting. We do have really nice Overlord spreads out of game time, so they'll see that Warp Prism coming. Won't be any question about that.
So far, it's 2, 3.
Well, he's got this Spore Caller, though, which was the other part of this. So he has detection. So this isn't going to work for MCanning in terms of, like, surprise element. But bring these back, make Archons, and Micro becomes more important than surprise.
But this is the standard DT drop, though. Like, the only thing that makes it not standard probably is the fact that MCanning would go into Disruptors after. I really like Game Time Spore Crawlers. This could have absolutely backfired, I suppose, if it would come in from the north. But, like, you know, it's Newkirk, right? Like, you're almost guaranteed to be trying to catch these Warp Prisms where those Spore Crawlers are. So that was pretty cool. I'm surprised MCanning's trying to make the DT still work. I mean, clearly there's an Overseer. It's not like he just catches a Spore Crawler out of position. He's got to turn into an Archon, and I guess he's just waiting until his macro set up back at home.
This is where you need to start hallucinating 5 Warp Prisms so they don't know where to look.
Yeah, I mean, I realize that the second Warp Prism does take up time. Like, the minerals, I don't actually think is that big of a deal, but it does take up time on your Robo, of which you only have a single one up until this point. But I do really appreciate the other ways that the DT Chop has been doing. But in some way, like MCanning is being unique with this, right? Like he was so insistent on keeping them as ZTs. That's usually not good, but he finds the one location without a Spore Crawler, and that Overseer is not hotkeyed with the army, I guess, because he definitely had one.
It's right here, yeah.
It just was so slow, I guess. Damn.
They're kind of like they're the alive turret Spore Crawlers, where they really are off to the side. They would have been perfect for intercepting, but
well, this one, there wasn't even one here, was there?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he had kind of put on the other sides of his base, is expecting him very clearly to come from the left, not from the north.
I mean, yeah. Even alive puts a missile turret in his natural, though, but it's just like somewhere like up in the very top left.
Yeah, it would be like over
right?
here.
Like, you know, Game Time definitely made a mistake, kind of like skimping, maybe like probably on purpose actually, but.
Well, this has created an interesting dynamic because right now, if this disruptor gets one hit, it's going to kill most of the roaches.
Oh, that is the only disruptor though.
However, well, there's force fields, there's immortals. He's got a lot of methods to buy time. Losing the third's going to suck.
It is, and it's going to happen too.
I feel like this isn't as bad as last game though, because you know what? You can actually kind of do 2-base economy with Robo for a time. 3 Stargate, like that's something you need a third base for. There's no question about it. Not trading these to Archon, still insisting on just going DTs. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, I was willing to take my words back, I suppose, when those DTs actually started to do damage. Like finding a hole like without a Spore Crawler was a big deal, but I'm kind of back to that might be better off being just coming back home actually and even helping. But I'm gonna try and get more damage done. He really needs to do a lot more damage. I mean, the third base going down is actually just really bad. It's just, there's no other way to put it. Game Time did not have a big economy, but he is about to get one. He's kind of just soft containing right now.
And the other hard thing that's really hard to look at is his army supply. Like if MCanning gets like one amazing disruptor hit, that still only takes off like 20 supply. 105 to 54. Protoss can fight in tight quarters, but this is not the type of fight you want to take.
Yeah, MCanning is not looking so great here. Is it instantly denied? Blinking forward's not going to actually work out too well, as there's just too many Roaches and Ravagers. He'd really have to catch Game Time running away, basically, which Game Time doesn't really have to do. Does take a nasty hit right there.
I don't know about the blink forward. That might be a little bit much, but he does catch another good hit with Disruptors. So, okay, he misses the first two, makes up for the next two, and takes down that army supply quite a chunk.
Yeah. We have Hydras on the way, and a couple of Ling Floods wouldn't be too bad either, considering that it is Blink Stalker Disruptor. Those Lings that'll hold him in place, can stop the Disruptor, so they hard at a micro.
Well, this could be good and bad, right? On one hand, if you lose a good chunk of Roaches, you didn't lose much. They're supply heavy, they're costly, but if you lose a chunk of Hydras, that's not something you can easily make up. So, yeah, Game Time's army gets better with these Hydras, there's no question about it, but he's got to make sure he doesn't take those really bad hits. And MCanning sitting on like 5 Disruptors now, excuse me, 6 Disruptors.
That's pretty good, yeah. That's like, I'm not even sure you can split well enough against that, especially off of creep. So this might be the point that MCanning's army really starts to shine. Basically takes out most of the Hydras right then and there.
Oh, big splats, but misses some of this on the follow-up. He does blink forward, and that almost baits the army in, though. Exactly what he wanted. He gets some really good hits on these Disruptors.
Is he out of Disruptor shots, though?
Oh, he might just be on cooldown. Yeah, a couple of them should be coming up in about 10 seconds. However, he does get the third base back up. If he can hold onto this, he'll be in such a good spot coming out of it. Because while this went on, he did kill the 4th base of Game Time because we'll note the minimap, it's suddenly missing.
Yeah, that is a good point. Those DTs working despite their initial,
my God.
Claim.
That army supply that was double before, now evenly matched. And Blink Stalker's going to give chase to the few units running back home. This is really bad, but this was, well, for Game Time, but this was a great defense out of MCanning.
It was.
Oh, he seemed going to get some of the Overlords on the way back.
Yeah, Game Time probably getting a little overconfidence. I mean, he was caught without that protection on his 4th base while getting a 5th. He was also caught just being overeager. Like, he could have just played a defensive game after killing the 3rd base and denying it again, but he really wanted to end the game. He thought he could do it.
Why is there a microphone button here?
Yo, I was going to ask you if that was like an XSplit thing, but it might be the NVIDIA driver thing.
I think it is, because I'm looking, there's nothing on the in-game overlay.
Yeah, I disabled mine on my computer, so I have no idea, but that's stupid. But anyways, so it actually is looking quite desperate for Game Time. Like, that army supply is never very good for the Zerg player.
And this, well, the same problem presents itself, where, yeah, every Disruptor hit that hits Hydras is so much more expensive than the same Disruptor hit that hits Roaches, but no splits out of Game Time, and MCanning takes some huge advantages here. He does recall, and he's not going to get the base. But he killed so many Hydras.
That probably was the smarter move, yeah.
Oh my God, look at the look at the units lost that. This is so disgusting to look at. This is a guy who, like, MCanning, funny enough, hasn't lost a lot this game. He just hasn't had a lot this game.
Yeah. Man, like I really think he could have stayed around too if he had a couple of more immortals. Like he really is like his army really does depend a lot on these disruptors. I mean, he didn't even have an upgrade. He got a forge so early on, but then everything happened that he held off on getting the +1. So his bling stalkers are really not impressive, and there's no immortals either. But just larger numbers here. Good disruptor on the Hydras as well, and another cleanup crew.
Almost hit some of his own units with that last disruptor shot, though.
Game time, I think just, again, kind of like repeating right there, just not taking care of his economy back home first, and then diving in against those disruptors. I gotta admit, like, MCanning looked like it was just going to be on the ropes for a long time, but 6 disruptors is something nasty to go up against, even for a Terran player. And we can definitely split a lot easier than Roaches and Hydras off of creep, but even... I mean, we would have trouble against 6.
Yeah. It's certainly, too, a thing where I thought Hydras, with their speed bonus on creep, would have, like, a much easier time. But that might be a question of control and not utility.
Yeah, he was taking less hits when he was defending this base. So, there's definitely said about being in an offensive position as well as being on creep. Just like a hop. But chasing is really where disruptors have always shined. So
yeah, you just kite back with him. It works so well. He does hit his own immortal there, though. That was
trying to get the lings. But the thing is, like, I actually think that lings are going to complicate things so much, and I really wish the lings had come in a lot earlier.
That was such a sick recall. Like, he had a good one earlier. I like that one here, too. But you're right. The lings are suddenly this issue where you can't get the same cost-efficient disruptor hit. You don't have a wall of zealots. I think the swap to go Hydra Ling was a really smart move out of game time, because he had stayed on roaches, he would be in a lot of trouble.
I agree. I really like the lings. I mean, the Hydras might still go down because lings don't kill the disruptors super fast unless they like full surround. But I think the lings are going to be a lot more effective. And if he would upgrade them as well, I think that actually would have been a very worthwhile investment, considering once more, disrupt their Blink Stalker, not disrupt their charge, not resonating glaive adept, not even a lot of Archons. He has like 2 Archons, a second pair of DTs coming in here.
By the way, people in chat are linking the fan art we found this morning. Yeah, 47S sent us the sickest, like, surprise tweet out of nowhere. I had no idea it was coming.
Oh, Scalping Stalker. Yeah, that was super sick. That was like a birthday present. Actually, it kind of was. My birthday's like in a week. I'll take it.
Yeah, there you go. Really big fight going on, though, but the disruptors just can't find the shots that they want. This is where Storms and Templar, I think, would really outshine. But you know what? This is getting tight. With the overcharge and a couple of stalkers, he did take out most of the lings. And the lings, as we talked about, were the issue here, not the Hydras. So it's a small amount of units left on both sides, but I think MCanning's going to be just fine.
If he could save his disruptors, actually, I think that would be okay. In fact, I think he's desperately pulling the probe just to save those disruptors, but they're still going down to 3, and game time is reinforcing with more lings and Hydras. That one just wasted right there.
Whoops.
I think this might be MCanning's death. I mean, I think they're coming off of cooldown, but everything's trickling in, so it's going to be hard to get rid of those really great shots.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. The fact that Game Time doesn't have this one clumped up army might actually be working to his advantage, whether he realizes it or not.
Yeah. Now, MCanning does have a 4th base, so it's not quite as desperate as it looks with pulling the probes from the 3rd. It's actually just really smart to pull the probes from the 3rd base.
Yeah.
DT's coming in here, hopefully in harassment. He just warped in 4, though, so I think he's just going to make in Harkons. I mean, that harassment helped, along with the disruptor shots. Combined together, it made MCanning look like he actually might even win the game. But Game Time has successfully taken care of his bases. That 5th never died, and now he has a real 5th that was his old 4th. And this 69 drones.
Yo, even if MCanning loses, this is the sickest graph to look at. Like, that army dip on both occasions.
Did we tell you what hotel room we got in Fear Dragon?
Is it 69?
Nah.
No.
It's 420. Hey.
You don't smoke. It's not funny.
You don't have to smoke to...
Do you just celebrate like, Hitler's birthday? Is that all it is?
And Stalin's. That's how I do. May 5th.
Wow. This is explaining a bit more than I thought I would need to know. But, all right. This army is, once again, bigger and should be better. There's upgrades in the favor of Game Time, too. Oh, Disruptor's getting picked off coming down from the ramp. However, there's no Overseers. So 1 or 2 DTs can clean up this whole army.
Yeah, good on MCanning to notice that. And Game Time, I don't think he ever invested into Overlord speed either.
No,
he did not. Like, usually it's like, okay, I guess he didn't really need it. But there's been a couple of moments there where, like, there's been Overseers, and they're just super slow. So now he needs to make one.
Yeah. So problems had, but we'll see if he addresses it. I mean, the other part of it is there's no Spore Crawlers, too. So I feel like if MCanning did, like, some DT harass, just walk 1 or 2 across the map, he'd actually get some really good returns on that investment.
Yeah.
Well, Archons will help with the splash damage that was the problem with the Lings. As we see, more Zealots have been warped in, too. Upgrades, though, don't have charge, don't have +3 weapons. Like, in all honesty, MCanning's army is not that impressive in terms of tech. Like, it's a very bare bones. So much of this relies on the disruptors. But that's what the man has made a career off of So I will have hope in my heart until the last disruptor dies.
You know, I wouldn't really mind if game time I just played. Oh, well, he's going to go for it. So never mind. I'll talk about it later. Tries to hit the Lings. Not really getting the greatest shots from these disruptors and running out of shots from them, too. This one's going to get about 3 Hydras. Not great. This one got a lot more.
That one gets a really good hit on the top left, and he is going to push this back.
Oh, no, this rally. Oh, geez, this pullback. Finally decides to try and target fire a couple disruptors. That is a better use of them than just letting them go through the army.
The overseers again, too, so DTs might become a problem once more later.
I feel like, well, I was going to say before he attacked in is that I wouldn't have minded if game time had just played purely defensive. The concaves and the creep have been working out for him much better than any attempt to kill MCanning.
I mean, we went over it too. Money has been he's had no problem with winning the income this game either.
Yeah. And this is, I mean, it's been really back and forth. MCanning finally has a bit of, one upgrade at least on these Stalkers, but still no War Prism. So if reinforcements could just go ahead and trickle out here, maybe game time getting him to back off once again. He has a 6th base. He saved the drones here as well. There's still a future for game time. But I feel like at this point, after like 4, turnaround engagements because you were the one that's being aggressive, maybe fitting an Infestation Pit and a Hive and Broodlords wouldn't be that bad of an idea. I mean, clearly MCanning's also hurting and trying to still go for the same composition. Because really, I feel like Zerg players don't want to go to Broodlords. Like, Broodlords equals GG for the Zerg player. LOL, right? Because a lot of the times the Protoss is also doing okay enough to get to Stargate, and Tempest seem to always trump the Broodlord endgame. But I don't know, like, game time's been winning the economy war. That much we know, although maybe a little more hazy for the actual players. But he also knows that MCanning's been just doing nothing but Blink Stalker disruptors, so I think the attempt to get there would be worthwhile.
Well, this is where I find it really interesting he didn't make that next step to Lurkers, because while Lurkers aren't super effective against disruptors, if you think about it, they soak the shot. You're not aiming for the clump of Hydras when you know you have to spend 2 shots on a single Lurker.
It's an interesting choice as well. I mean, either option is going to be very expensive, and despite his economic lead, they've been very low on minerals.
Get some Ace 1s and Ace 2s in the chat to celebrate, boys, because we got a base trade kicking off. Now, DT's actually warped in defensively. You can use the Banelings manually to kill this. Maybe a few too many, but it still takes out the DT. Kills the base, walks away, but MCanning's not done. He's got a recall, so he's going to stay as long as he possibly can and the recall out at the last moment.
Yeah. Didn't expect this to be the end of the game, but game time is taking a lot more damage for this as he tries to retreat to clean everything up. He's already lost basically all of his drones, down to 16.
Yeah. Oh, one more. One more.
Nope.
All right, recall's GG.
Oh, man.
All right, MCanning brings it back, ties things up now 1-1. That's not too bad.
Well, that was a very back and forth game, and I'm sure game time's just laughing at how much those disruptors did.
Well, the 3rd and final map is going to be on Belshire. Let's get that host set up real quick. I want to go make sure I haven't missed anything on Twitter since I don't have a phone to check Twitter with. Feels bad, man.
Truly a peasant life.
If you guys haven't heard already, Rifkin's crying today because my phone broke, so I don't have any way to watch and check Twitter. Most importantly, I don't have a way to access my information and get my flight details and other things. But whatever. I'll worry about that, I guess, after DreamHack.
Well, if you can't get your flight information. Well, I guess after DreamHack Sunday night.
Yeah.
Got a point.
Game time. I keep looking for Showtime on this list.
Game time, Showtime.
Yeah, game time's like the wrong race Showtime prodigy, I guess.
Nighttime, daytime.
Oh, someone here's taking pictures of us. Sadly, communicast in the big screen. Aw, give that a favorite. I look fat as fuck. Don't care.
I was gonna say you're the one that pointed the camera at him.
It's all good. I'm a big guy. I accept it. It's part of who I am. All right, they're ready to go. Let's hop into it. Belshire Vestige for game number 3.
I wish there was the chairs aren't uncomfortable, but I feel very lame with how I'm sitting. I don't know how to explain it better.
It can't look worse than the stools they put you on for O Gaming. Those were not flattering, I'm sorry.
Well, thank you for bringing that up again. But also, I agree. They were just really awkward in general. The only way to sit comfortably was to cross your leg.
BaseTradeTV, see if you get Ting to speed mail you a backup phone. We kind of looked at. Did Jesse ever reply?
No.
Oh, it feels bad.
Unless Skype didn't update on my phone.
All right, well, we're getting to game number 3. Spawning here in the bottom right, he's the purple Protoss, the man with the plan, the MCann man with the plan, MCanning.
Oh, he did. On the top left, has the, ooh, yeah, that's how I was going to do it. It's the yellow Zerg, game time. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
you
steal
can
the
look at
phone.
it.
Ah, darn it. Yeah, we're here on the weekend, so that feels bad, man. Nothing ships on the weekend. Anyways, yeah, MCanning going to have to deal with this earlier pool could be kind of rough. We've actually seen a lot of games on the Korean ladder between really good players like Scarlet and otherwise who they killed the Protoss in like 2 minutes and 45 seconds with these early speedling builds. And right now, MCanning's doing what might be the worst thing possible because he's not building around his mineral lines. He's not, you know, held up in his main. He's going to have that one exposed pylon out here. And if 6 Lings from game time get across the map and kill this, that's game over.
He is scouting, however, and he did see the lack of a natural bait. Well, he sees everything, actually. That probe got right in there, so... He's going to be able to try and actually build a wall, which would otherwise maybe be missing if he didn't scout, because, you know, Gateway Nexus, then Cybernetics Core, and then there's still even more of a hole, because Belshir actually is quite a lengthy wall off, so he has to even put a pylon. That's going to be the weak point, but at least it's a wall.
That's actually really important, because I think what you would do most of the time in this situation, normally, get that Nexus down, then put the wall in, and then invest into it. By then, it's too late. You don't have the minerals. The game's going south. So this isn't going to stop the problem. But the Zealot, the Pylon, this all buys time.
Yeah.
He's actually going for a second Zealot, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of the safer option. You know those Zerglings got to be coming in soon.
Right, but the point is, like, he still hasn't started a Nexus, which is kind of a bad thing in and of itself, but as long as he holds on here, he'll come out ahead. He saw that
this wasn't even just the pool, right? He saw the gas as well, so to overcommit to the defense is so far the better move. If he continues to, though, of course, then we got to start, you know, reevaluating. But so far, I think that second Zealot was the better move. Was the smarter one. It's going to give him a lot less of a headache to try and keep on dodging out here. Once that Adept pops out, you'd be fine.
Okay, I'm surprised he's doing it like this. I was going to say, that probe could have just held position the wall, and he could have sent both the Zealots out, right? But I guess not wanting to get surrounded. The overcharge is locked and loaded, but he's not popping it.
He's going to let the Zealot die. I mean, the Adept is also going to be that safe unit in the back with that range. So
just cancel this and get a Nexus.
I don't know. It's funny, too, though, because do you really want to cancel it?
I mean, the wall's weak, yeah. So I guess letting it finish is a good idea. Yeah, Link's going to follow it up, so it's still no Nexus for MCanning. He's nowhere close to having money to get one, but with Adepts, Stalkers on the other side of this wall, Lings aren't going to be the problem that they were.
Yeah, I'm like, this is the point where you start talking about over-dedicating, though. Like, the double Stalkers might not be worth it. They're certainly not worth it in that they can go across the map. Like, this was a Speedling push. He got more Speedlings, just like, you know, 10. And Stalkers are never going to be very good against them in general, but they're also just, you know, they're a lot more expensive. So, like, you probably shouldn't be risking throwing those out on the map. The fuck was that?
Oh, somehow Skype is open even though we closed it.
Yeah, you, like, you...
I
actually
end-tasked it.
What the fuck? Is it on? Dude.
It's not even
open.
Out. We're getting ghost Skype here.
It's like when I was still on Skype, you all like end-tasked me. I really don't know what that is. Is it like a feature of Windows 10?
I guess I've never seen that feature. I don't know what that is.
Can you
Everyone heard the sound, but there's no sound option to mute it, so I don't know. Guys, it's a literal ghost on the computer.
Like, our system sounds are already muted. Like
this is everyone doing the what face is doing it right.
Is it an NVIDIA thing?
Maybe. I'll have to look into it. I have no clue.
That's so weird. Anyway, so back to the game.
We're going to have downtime after this best of 3. We'll have a few minutes to look into
I was talking about the 2 Stalkers. So, like, it was a lot to focus on, to be honest. It's just 2 Stalkers after all, but it did further delay that Nexus that is still not quite done. Just about to finish right here, right now. But Game Time did expand already once and has the 3rd base about done as well. He still needs to get the drone count up a little bit more before he really wants to, you know, make roaches or lings, but he has that time. Like, he's... Resident Evil only just started. He doesn't see that big of an army. I mean, hopefully we can see in here too.
It's like the name of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. We got a new sub.
Yo, MQNN. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. And I know some other people hit us up with resubs. We'll dedicate some shout-outs to that after, but like I said, we don't actually have the alerts properly set up right now. It's cool that they let us cast, but this is pretty... it was pretty much like, hey guys, you got to basically do everything on your own.
Well,
like
yeah.
Including setting up and figuring out the audio and everything.
I mean, most of their production just have to worry about Twitch alerts coming on the mainstream.
No, so that's true. That's very true.
I think we'll forgive them.
Well, Hallucinate Phoenix lets MCanning know where about he's at in the game, because it'd be very scary to still see like some sort of weird dedication, a 90 swarm coming up, a faster layer. Like, Any of that information was great. So seeing the fact that this was only on the way was huge. He doesn't know about the third, and that kind of sucks, but I think seeing the layer timing was what he was really looking for.
Yeah, the amount of workers, the amount of saturation that was going on the main and natural should tell you that their base is already up and running.
Now that's interesting. That actually shows us what type of sub somebody subs with.
Yep.
So DJ Kobe 499 sub. So it's just like a regular sub, which is just fine with us. Thank you very much.
It feels so weird to say the price. Not just because it's like saying the money value, but it's just like $4.99 coming on down the chicken barbecue.
Yeah, I guess like, oh, it's a tier 1, tier 3, tier 15 resub.
We call them basic, mediocre. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw, but we did upload some temporary placeholder tier 3 and tier 2 emotes, and they are banned words on the channel. So if you want to get around saying the ban filter, now you can pay to win.
Yeah. So this is a very awkward move out. The thing about Adepts is that you can shade in and shade out, and they're really not that expensive in the grand scheme of things, but Sentries are. So bringing the Mothership core is a good idea. I guess maybe they'd have a chance to leave them just force fielded, but the recall is, I think, going to be necessary. Game Time didn't really have a problem macroing up in comparison to MCanning. Like, they both actually got to a very usual ZvP point despite the opener. Very close in workers, three bases versus 2. MCanning just needs to get a third base, and he will look very similar to ZvP in a regular macro game. Just needs to go ahead and kill it.
Ace Campfire.
There we go. All right. So. Why?
Instead of Ace Vampire, Ace Campfire.
Because we go camping all the time.
Sorry, shout out to Part 2 for giving me the giggles. I appreciate it.
So I think this is like the first. Isn't this the first time that we've seen the third base taken like this from a Protoss player?
Yeah, you know what? We've seen so many Terran players get like right up on doing things like this, so this is it feels a little bit odd.
It may not be the first time, but
it's not going to get it. He's going to have to cancel it, so we don't have this problem.
The thing is, like I'm not actually sure that the Protoss player necessarily wants to be.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay,
right.
So with the Lings going in like that, he knew he could walk past it. He snipes off the Disruptor. Like Game Time, it would make more sense to get an easy cancel on the third, but he decides to go for something a little bit riskier. Well, that's the thing, it's a little bit riskier, but he does catch MCanning a little bit out of position. So on one side, beating back the army and buying time with the Roaches, while he pushes in to maybe get more with the main army, but he pulls back now. Yeah,
there's only one Disruptor. I mean, that was like a terrible thing, though. Like, MCanning probably should not have tried to save that, even when it was just the Lings. This is kind of game over territory. He doesn't have 6 Disruptors that are going to make that null and void. He only has 1 popping out. And it's behind a wall, so it might get a good shot, but then what does he do after that? There's still like 30 Roaches.
And the overcharges have mostly been burnt. The Mothership, of course, only got like 1 more left in her. So many Roaches and so many Lings he's got to buy time for. And, okay, maybe a second Disruptor comes out. Even if it gets the most hits possible, it's only half the army. I think the other half of Game Time's army still enough to overwhelm 20 supply. This is looking bad for MCanning.
That one Disruptor is going to get a great hit.
Someone called the police. Someone broke into the MCann mansion. I love, by the way, this move to stall out the Disruptors. No one really uses Contaminates all that often, but good moves out of Game Time, and I think this series is already over.
Yeah. But it's like that last game should have probably been it, really, and MCanning brought that back. And I was really impressed by, but Game Time, I know we talked a little bit about him earlier that we just don't know a lot about him, but Fear Dragon, like the 1 or 2 times that I cast with him, just gives a lot of credit to this guy, and I think a lot of the NA pros do as well.
Yeah, I think, well, first off, GG. I think Game Time and the other one, who's it, Panda Bear and me are the ones who get most underappreciated for the way they can play.
Yep.
Like I said, we don't really know Game Time all that well. We know of him because we've seen him and his results, but hey, that's pretty cool to beat MCanning. The downside to this, though, is that means he's probably going on to fight against Euthermal next, and that's going to be tough. This is the land setting with a European god who is specifically good against Zerg.
Well, that's where it's the benefit, right? Euthermal's all jet lagged and shit.
Yeah. We see Igas hanging out behind us. Some of the other players just kind of chilling. We are going to go to a commercial break, though, guys, so I can try and fix some stuff. I also need to get some water. I am straight up dying. So thank you guys for watching this stream. I hope you'll sit tight. We're going to be casting for a while today, so we'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.